Hello peeps, welcome back to Plague Inc. Evolved. Today we are taking a look at how to beat the game with brutal difficulty with the Neurax Worm. So as always, the strategy starts here, modifying the genetic code. So let's take a look at the first thing we want to do. So DNA genes. First thing we want to take a look at for this is the catalytic switch. Now this gives you a bonus DNA from popping the blue cure bubbles. Now I've played this a couple of times and I'm not sure that this one is actually very good, because in my experience there hasn't actually been that many around. So for this is what I've used in the past. But I think what I'm going to use this time is cytochrome surge, which is DNA from popping the orange DNA bubbles. That's the one I'm going to use this time, but in the past I have used the catalytic switch and that has worked. But the last few times I played it, although they've started working on a cure, I haven't actually had any blue bubbles to pop. So it's been really useless. Okay, let's take a look at the next one, which is the mutation gene. Now you can choose either genetic mimic, which makes your plague harder to cure, or you can choose Darwinist, which increases the chance of your plague mutating. I'm going to take this one this time, just because of the strategy that I want to use relies on random symptom mutations. It doesn't rely on it, but it's kind of like a bit of a bonus thing. Okay. Next one is your travel gene. We're going to take Aquasite in the hope that we can get to some of the little islands a bit easier. Although the Neurax Worm does actually have means of getting to the little islands. It has other means of getting to the other islands. So that's in the hope that we get to the little islands like Iceland, Greenland, the Caribbean, some of the Southeast Asian islands. Because they all have seaports, but they don't all have airports. Environment gene. Extremophile. I think it's always going to be Extremophile for the brutal difficulties. Because it gives you a bonus in pretty much everywhere you go, so why not? And finally, the evolution gene, we're going to take the ionized helix. So we get bonus DNA when devolving, because we want to devolve. If we mutate if we get some free mutations for the symptoms, there's only selective ones that we want. So this will help with that. Alright, so there your modified genetic code. If you haven't got them all, if you haven't got all of these ones especially, the best way to do it is stick the game on casual difficulty and win a bunch of games. I think you have to win 25 games in total, and that will unlock them all. Okay. On brutal difficulty as usual. Let's play. Okay, so here we are in the world. We're going to start in India, because I think the way that it works is that if you start in a hot country, your plague will be good in other hot countries. If you start in a cold country, it'll be good in other cold countries. So that's my understanding of it. I don't know if that's completely how it works, but that's my understanding of it. Thus far. I've also noticed that it has today's date. I didn't notice that it was the day that you play it. I didn't realise that was when it started. So that's a nice little touch. Okay, let's start in India. Let's speed it up a bit. And off we go. Okay, so I've saved up a few points. Let's take a look at the transmissions, because that's the first thing we're going to be doing. And as you can see, it's a little different from the usual plagues that we have. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get eggs. Eggs 1. and that will eject worms, eggs from the host brain in the thousands, increasing infectiousness. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then after that, we're going to get bird 1, insect 1, and rodent 1, which will give us increased infectivity. I haven't got quite enough points for that, so I'm going to go and get some more points, and then we'll come back and take a look at the rest of the stuff. Okay, so once you've gone on and you've got a few more points, as you can see here, I got the rodent one. The next thing you want to take a look at is this one, the CONCERTINA locomotion. So we're going to get that one, which will allow it to move outside of the host faster. And we're also going to get undulatory locomotion as well, which is a similar sort of thing to the first one, really. And we're going to get that one as well. And then it's back to the world map to get some more points. Okay, so let's pause it here. As you can see, we've almost infected the entire population of India, and it started to spread to other countries quite rapidly as well. Now, I was quite fortunate in the fact that in this particular game there was a big bird migration, so that kind of helped me out quite a lot with the spreading of the disease, which is nice. We've got 42 points, so we're going to go and take a look at the next things you want to be getting in the transmissions. So, first of all, let's see, that one's the least expensive. So you want to get Air 1, so that it allows the worm to float on the wind, increasing infectivity, and obviously allows it to travel by plane. And we're going to get Water 1 as well, which will be able to survive in water. So we're going to get both of those, and then we're going to go into abilities, and we're going to get Trojan Planes 1, Trojan Planes 2, and then we could get Trojan Roamers or Trojan Destroyers. Now that becomes causes destructive and aggressive behaviour in the target country. That one increases infectivity in the target country. So I think I'm probably going to get this one first, because this one will help us out, because we're still in the early game. So I'm going to get that one. So we get our first Trojan plane pop up, as you can see here. So this is what I mean by the alternate method of getting to the smaller islands. Now I've got some of these islands over here. Where is it? It's New Guinea. That one's got some infection in it already. Indonesia and the Philippines don't have that yet. So I'm going to use one of these Trojan planes to go to Indonesia, because that has an airport and a seaport, and it's also in this kind of similar sort of area, so it should do okay in that area. Okay, so once you've collected a few more points, you'll want to come back into the abilities menu, and you want to pick up Drug Resistance 1, because now that your plague is evolving to other countries, some of them will be wealthy countries, and you'll need a little bit of extra help in spreading in those countries. Also, now that I've kind of infected into China, some parts of China, and especially near the Russian border, are quite cold. So it's best to pick up Cold Resistance 1 and 2, because then you won't find that that's too difficult to get those colder climated countries. It's a bit of a mouthful. Okay, so at this point we've got quite a lot of DNA points down here. We've just had our first free mutation, which is neural breach symptom. I'm going to leave that in there for the moment. Okay, what we do need next is Air 1 and Air 2 and Water 2. So let's get both of those, which will unlock Air 3. Which increases infectivity quite a lot, especially in rich and hot countries. So it's a lot. It costs a lot, but we're going to get it. Okay, if we've still got a reasonable amount of points, so I'm going to get Drug Resistance 2, which will take most of our points away, but that's fine. So we should be getting more Trojan planes coming up, which will help us infect countries. If I take you back here, as you can see, I've managed to get them into Madagascar and into the Caribbean and New Zealand and so many things coming up, and most of these countries down here. Japan we've got. Philippines has been infected, so most of those have been infected. Let's say New Zealand's got some. So I'm going to take this one up to Greenland. I'll send that over to Greenland, and that should help us out. That's spreading very quickly. So your map will start to look a bit like this. Fortunately, we're still good for the cure. They're only at 12%, so we don't need to worry about a genetic reshuffle or anything like that just yet. So what we do need to keep an eye on, though, is countries like Norway and Sweden and Finland, all these Scandinavian countries, because as you can see already, Norway has closed its seaport already. So the only way we're going to get in there is either by land or by the Trojan airplane. So it's good to keep an eye on the stuff like that. As same sort of thing. Iceland shut down its airport. Canada shut down one of its seaports. So, but I think we're good. I think we're doing all right. I think we're doing okay. So the next thing we wanted to take a look at is in transmission, and we want to get genetic swap. Which increases the chance of mutation. And then we get that unlocks either corpse feeder, which increases infectivity when corpses are present, which we don't really want because I don't think we've actually killed off that many people. It'd be a bit of a waste of time. What we do want is mutative regeneration, which increases chance of mutation further. So we're going to get that one, and we're going to get the one after that. Let's say we already picked Darwinist, so that gives us a bonus to mutation as well. So hopefully we'll start seeing a big increase in symptom mutations. We've still got 65 points. I'm going to take this some of these points, and I'm going to put them into genetic hardening. I'm just going to put it into one of the first genetic hardening, just to kind of slow them down a little bit in their research. Okay, so I've finally managed to get to the point where there are no healthy people left in the world. Unfortunately, I had to wait until the cure was up to 74%, which is really bad. So let's take a look. I did get one genetic reshuffle, and I've also got both of the genetic hardenings to try and slow that down a little bit. But we can move on to the symptoms now. Now, what we want, where is it? Cerebral tendrils. We want that one. We also want frontal mesh. I'm not going to devolve anything just yet because that will cost us points, and we don't have huge amounts of points to play with. The next one we want to get is immaturity, so we'll get that. Then mania, get that. Obsession, we'll get that one. Devotion, we'll get that one. We want transcendence, and we also want adoration, but we don't have enough for both. That one's 36. So I think we're going to get we'll get adoration. Actually, no, we won't get adoration. We'll just save our points until we get enough for transcendence. And we won't devolve anything, because if we devolve anything, it's going to cost us points. And we need to keep our points for getting this. So that's what we're going to do. So we need 36 points. We've got 28 points. Hopefully this won't take too long, but we shall see. Okay, so I had a bit of bad luck with the previous game because the eye cure device came out and was very successful, and it put up my the cure research by like 20% in one hit. So that was pretty bad. I was very close to winning, but because of that, which is a bit random, which is slightly unfortunate, it was a bit random, it meant that I couldn't finish it. So I've come back, I've started up again. I've followed exactly the same stuff that I did before, except this time I started putting in my symptoms that I wanted a little bit earlier than I would have done before. So as you can see from the world map, not everyone is infected. So I started it a bit earlier. As you can see from here, I've still got exactly the same transmissions as I had before. I've gone into here, I've still got the same abilities that I had before. I haven't picked up drug resistance 2 this time though, because so far I haven't felt like I've actually really needed it. I have picked up genetic hardening just to try and slow the cure rate down a little bit, but so far it's only at 16%, it's not too bad. But if we go into the symptoms menu, you can see that I've already got most of the symptoms that I want, and it's literally just a case of picking up Adoration and Transcendence. So I'm going to pick up Adoration now, because that increases the infectivity quite a lot, and then we'll get Transcendence after that, which will hopefully win us the game. But with this much infectivity, we should be good to go. So that's the next stop, is Transcendence. Once I've got 39 points, we're way ahead this time, because as I say, it hasn't even hit 25%. And then any points after that I'm going to use in genetic hardening and genetic reshuffles. Okay, so we're at this point again. There are no healthy people left in the world. We're at 36% on the cure. I'm just going to grab a genetic reshuffle just to bring that down a little bit, but I think that should be it, because people are going to start worshipping. There we go. Squidward has enslaved humanity. The whole world worships Squidward as their god and master. Efforts to cure the plague have ceased, and humanity is entering a dark new future as a slave species. And that's it. So I was very close before, but slightly bad luck in the end. So I hope this guide has helped you, and showed you how you can go a little bit wrong as well. Try and get the symptoms in, start getting the symptoms in a little earlier than I originally showed you. And maybe don't pick up the drug resistance 2 if you don't feel like you need it. Again, with the cold resistance, get cold resistance 1. If you don't feel like you need cold resistance 2, then don't get it. But I've found that Iceland has been the last one I've got on virtually every time I've tried to play this. It just seems to be really slow, and I'm sending multiple Trojan planes there to try and take Iceland. So that's the Neurax Worm. I hope this has helped you out if you've been having problems with it. I have problems with it, and I know how to do it. So yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you again next time. Take care. Bye bye.